And it's 9/28. Happy birthday, champ.
So, I turned 29, 1 year away from hitting the big 30. Turning 29 felt different from any other birthdays. I felt this overwhelming sense of pressure that I never felt particularly about my age before. And I couldn't help but to think to myself, this is not how I picture my life at 29. At 29 years old, I thought I would have a job I love. I thought I would have a partner I would get married to. I thought I would be a lot less confused about life in general. But the reality is different. I'm not exactly happy with my job. I know that there is something I would feel far more passionate about. And as for my romantic life, I'm single. In fact, my relationship ended just a week before my birthday. And as sad as that was in itself, suddenly this idea of biological clock as a woman started to sink in. And I kept asking myself, where did all my 20s go? When did I become this adult? And I just felt like I was running out of time in every aspect of my life. But I've taken some time to reflect, and I think I'm finally starting to find some silver linings in getting older.
Sometimes things look like they don't have any order, and then from a different level, you realize that it does have order. It's like climbing a mountain. Look around, you see trees and rocks and bushes pressing around you, and then you get above the tree line, you see everything you just went through, and it all like comes together. You know, you see that it has a shape after all.
First, I'm learning a lot about myself as I age. Last year was a tough year. A lot happened, from losing my mom, realizing how short life is, trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, and ending a relationship. And I'm not gonna lie, it all kind of sucked. But at the same time, going through these experiences and having a countless of dialogues with myself and others, I've learned about myself more than I ever had before within a year. And it revealed me what brings me joy, what I want my future to look like, and what I can or cannot compromise for that. And yes, I felt lost and overwhelmed most of the times, but I also try my best to consciously choose the way I interpret and react to things that were happening in my life. Sure, I felt like a failure for not knowing what I want to do at 29, but at least I'm making an effort to change that instead of sweeping it under the rug. And of course, I'm heartbroken that my mom is no longer with us. But this experience will allow me to have more empathy, connect with people in a way that I never could before. And sure, I'm sad that the relationship didn't work out, but I also learned so much from it, and I wouldn't trade it with anything else. And I'm usually not the one to give myself enough credit, but I am proud of the way I've handled things and how strong I stayed throughout the year. And I guess that's the perks of getting older. Through various life experiences and challenges, you surprise yourself with the strength that you never knew you had, or with the ability to put things into perspective, even when things feel like the end of the world. And you learn to make sense of things on your own, and you learn to do things that's best for yourself, little by little. Second, there's so much more to life than what I know or see at this moment. It's funny how the universe brings people into your life, even for a brief moment, as if they were trying to teach you a specific lesson. I recently met two people who have made a career change later in their lives. Someone in his 30s who is an English teacher on his way to become a web developer, and someone in his 40s who used to be a programmer but became a doctor later in his life. And their stories resonated with me, not only because they made me feel less alone, but also because it was eye-opening to see people older than me simply pursuing what brought them joy and stop pursuing things that were no longer serving them. And I guess I'd never really seen that before in my own bubble, where all the people seemed to be doing what they started doing in their 20s. And I was somehow made to believe that you had to have everything figured out in your 20s. And I realized that I actually know so little about life. And I also realized that it's okay to try one thing and change it if I don't like it. And it makes me feel relieved and excited at the same time, knowing that there's so much more to learn and experience, and I will still get to explore and grow as a person from here. Third, I've built some incredible relationships over the years in my life. On my birthday this year, I wasn't feeling the best. I took a day off from work and I was gonna spend it by myself at home with no particular plans. But thanks to all the loving people in my life, it actually turned out to be a pretty memorable birthday that made me feel really loved. So my best friend showed up at my apartment to surprise me and to make sure that I wasn't spending my birthday alone. She's my rock and I don't know what I would do without her. And then my previous partner kindly gave me a call to wish me happy birthday. Also, my closest friend from work dropped by my apartment to deliver some lovely gifts. As the day was coming to an end, I got a voice message from a good friend of mine in the States, and we chatted about the struggles of navigating adulthood. And I came to realize that I've built some incredible relationships in my life over the years, and I'm beyond grateful for them. Some of the relationships have transitioned, but we continue to have a lot of love and respect for each other, and I think that's pretty beautiful. And getting older might not be such a bad thing if I think about many more meaningful relationships like these that I get to build as I age. And obviously, I'm still nowhere near from figuring out this thing called adulthood. And I'm still learning to find peace in getting older and resist the pressure that I often put on myself every day. But I do find peace in knowing what I've learned in the process so far. So for now, I choose to enjoy the process and trust that everything else will fall into place. And with that, I say to myself, happy 29th birthday.